by the blazing constellations. The Libra full moon is upon us, and it's not all candlelit dinners and peaceful stargazing. Welcome to the Great Relationship Showdown of 2025.
Showdown? Arlo, Libra is ruled by Venus, remember? This is supposed to be a time for grace, beauty, and mutual understanding, not astrological warfare.
But this Libra full moon doesn't come bearing flowers and soft whispers. It's a mirror held up to every unspoken tension. It doesn't just illuminate, it demands answers.
So you're saying relationships are on trial, and the stars are the jury?
Exactly. With Venus exalted but tethered to Saturn, and Mars in Cancer stirring emotional storms, we're looking at a week where love, loyalty, and limits go head to head.
I was hoping for poetry and peace. But if it's emotional courtroom drama the universe wants, let's make our opening arguments.
Then let the transits speak for themselves. It's time to decode the Libra full moon. Greetings, stargazers. Welcome back to the Transits 2025 series here on Satya Astrology. I'm Arlo, your guide through the ancient skies, here to make sense of April's cosmic commotion. And with me today is the ever-thoughtful Ella, ready to disagree, I'm sure.
Well, someone has to keep you grounded, Arlo. Hello everyone, I'm Ella, coming from 3 years of modern astrology and still recovering from the shock of how blunt traditional techniques can be. But, I'll admit, they're growing on me.
Blunt? I prefer undeniably accurate. The sky doesn't mince words, and neither do I.
Let's hope the full moon in Libra shows you how to speak with a little more grace.
Oh, Libra might want balance, but this full moon isn't handing out peace treaties, it's handing out ultimatums. Let's dive into what the cosmos has in store. Alright, here it is, the Libra full moon chart for April 12, 2025. Glorious, dramatic, and dare I say, ripe for relational fireworks.
Fireworks? Arlo, Libra is supposed to be about balance and beauty. You make it sound like we're heading into a soap opera finale.
Balance, yes, but not without a showdown first. A full moon reveals, it's the cosmic spotlight. Whatever's been brewing behind the scenes, boom, center stage.
Okay, fine. But just to make sure we're all on the same page, what does a full moon symbolize in traditional astrology?
It's culmination, illumination, peak visibility. Emotions are heightened, reactions sharpened. The moon is full of light, and with light comes clarity. Sometimes shocking clarity.
So basically, a big cosmic flashlight on a part of our chart?
Exactly. Wherever this full moon lands in your whole sign house chart, that area of life lights up. And if it's near a planet, that planet takes center stage too.
But wait, after the full moon, the moon starts to wane, right? Doesn't that suggest decline or letting go?
Aha! You're catching on. After the full moon, energies begin to wane. Things settle, resolve, or conclude. But that moment of fullness? That's the spotlight. It reveals what can no longer be hidden.
So with the full moon in Libra, it's Libra's stage. Relationships, harmony, diplomacy. They're all center stage now.
Exactly. It's a beautiful performance. But even the most elegant waltz needs direction.
And I'm guessing that's where the bound placement comes in?
Bingo. The bound of the moon tells us who's behind the curtain, quietly pulling the strings.
Then let's pull it back and see who's running the show.
Let's do it. Alright, the Libra full moon lands in the bound of Venus, specifically Venus in Libra. We're talking refined elegance wrapped in diplomatic charm.
So it's time for our keyword game again, right? Venus in Libra. Let me guess. Beauty, grace, partnerships, fairness?
Bravo, Ella. You're reading my thoughts now. And since Venus rules Libra, we're basically looking at the purest form of Venusian energy, poised, polished, and persuasive.
Sounds lovely. Almost too lovely. All this grace and charm, where's the drama you promised, Arlo?
There it is. The catch. Venus in Libra sets the stage with silk curtains and sweet music, but that doesn't mean the players won't clash. The real twist? It's in the moon's next aspect.
Let me guess. Here comes the tension?
Exactly. To understand this relationship showdown, we've got to look at who the moon meets next. And it's not exactly a peaceful tea party. Behold, the full moon is applying a square to Mars in Cancer. Our cosmic drama thickens.
A square to Mars? Now that's not exactly afternoon tea and polite conversation. Mars in Cancer sounds emotionally messy.
Exactly. Mars is in its fall in Cancer, moody, reactive, a little too eager to armor up at the first emotional poke. This isn't the bold, sharp Mars we're used to. It sulks, stews, and strikes sideways.
And there's reception, right? Mars is in the moon sign. Doesn't that help smooth things over?
Reception helps the connection, yes, but it doesn't fix the flavor. A hot iron delivered gently is still hot. The friction is real.
So that's why you called this the Great Relationship Showdown. Libra's all about harmony, but Mars barges in with emotional baggage.
Exactly. This isn't a peaceful negotiation. It's the tug-of-war between grace and grievance. Even Venus can't keep the peace when Mars is in mood mode.
Mars in Cancer has definitely been testing my patience lately. Is this emotional whirlwind ever going to end?
Yes, Mars enters Leo on April 18th, and that, my friend, is a cosmic wardrobe change.
Ah, Mars in Leo. That's more my style. Bold, passionate, dramatic in the fun way. Sounds like hero mode activated.
Exactly. Mars in Leo charges in with fire, flair, and the need to prove itself. Less moping, more epic entrances.
So we just have to survive this moody Mars in Cancer phase for a few more days?
Yes, but during this full moon, sparks can fly. Relationships might feel like pressure cookers, words sting, defenses rise, even the calmest Libra can get caught in the crossfire.
All right, so this Mars square explains the tension, but it's short-lived, right? Once we're past April 18th, things settle down?
Ah, Ella, if only it were that simple. There's another layer to this drama we haven't peeled back yet.
Oh no, what now?
The sign and bound ruler of this full moon, Venus. She's at the heart of it all, and her condition changes everything. Let's examine her next. Now, Ella, cast your eye here. Venus in Pisces. What do you see?
Okay, Venus is exalted in Pisces. And wait, is she still retrograde?
Not anymore. She's stationary direct, turning forward within half an hour of the full moon itself. That's what I call dramatic timing.
Oh, I've read that stationary planets are especially potent. It's like they're paused at full volume. That's a strength, right?
Correct. A stationary direct Venus is powerful, like someone who's recovered from an illness and is about to reclaim their throne. But
there's a but, of course.
She's still afflicted. Conjunct Saturn, remember?
Right, the infamous Venus-Saturn conjunction. Didn't we already warn people about this during the solar eclipse episode?
Indeed. Back then, Venus was retrograde. Now she's direct, but that Saturn conjunction still brings challenges, especially with the North Node in the mix, amplifying everything.
So this is round 2 of the cosmic tension? Love versus limits?
By the blazing constellations. Exactly. It's the great relationship showdown. Discipline meets desire. Duty crashes into delight.
I love it. So what does this conjunction actually mean, in practical terms?
Let's use our keyword technique. Venus, beauty, love, art, money, connection. Saturn, restriction, duty, time, boundaries.
Cold love, financial stress, long-term commitments that feel heavy, art under pressure, relationships that test your limits.
Now you're speaking traditional astrology, Ella.
But is it all doom and gloom? She is exalted in Pisces, after all.
That's the nuance. Venus is strong, but the Saturnian weight creates gravity. It's not doomed, it's serious. Commitment, maturity, endurance.
Sounds like a cosmic stress test for hearts and wallets.
Exactly. And guess what? The conjunction lands in the bound of Mars in Pisces.
Oh no, not Mars again. What does Mars in Pisces bring?
Martyrdom, sacrifice, artistic struggles, fighting for ideals. It adds tension, but also purpose.
Okay, so love feels like a spiritual test now, or an emotional workout.
Both. And remember, Saturn conjoins the North Node on April 13th. Venus follows on April 20th. These are peak dates.
So when do things ease up?
Venus enters Aries on May 1st, breaking free from the weight of Saturn and that Pisces haze.
Finally, so your advice, hold off on big love or money moves until May.
Not necessarily. This energy is useful too, for building something meaningful. But you have to know what you're working with. It's like sculpting marble. You need patience, not panic.
Wise words. Still, I might keep my romantic declarations soft launch for now.
Good strategy. Now let's shift gears. There's more in April's sky we need to explore. Alright, Ella, the skies of April are heating up. First big shift, Mercury re-enters Aries on April 16th. It was retrograde during that intense March 29th solar eclipse, then turned direct on April 7th in Pisces. Now it's back in Aries, ready for action.
Finally, Mercury in Aries is like a splash of clarity. No more foggy thinking or second-guessing every sentence. We need this directness.
By Jupiter's mighty thunder. Yes, Mercury in Aries cuts through the haze like a sword. No more poetic detours, just bold, fast decision-making.
Bold maybe, but doesn't Mercury in Aries sometimes forget to listen?
Touché, Ella. Quick thinking doesn't always mean deep thinking. But still, I'll take clarity over confusion any day.
And right after that, Mars enters Leo on the 18th, and the Sun enters Taurus on the 19th. Lots of shifting energy.
Exactly. But here's where it gets spicy. Those two clash. Sun square Mars hits exact on April 21st. A fixed sign face-off, Taurus and Leo.
Stubborn versus stubborn?
Pretty much. Imagine a regal standoff where neither side wants to blink. There's reception. Mars is in the Sun's domicile, so that softens the blow a little. But we're still talking friction, tension, power struggles.
So we've got mental heat from Mercury in Aries, emotional fire from Mars in Leo, and now ego clashes between the Sun and Mars. Anything peaceful in April?
We're getting there. April 24th brings the Venus-Saturn conjunction we already talked about. And then the new moon in Taurus on April 27th. A fresh start, and the perfect moment for our next episode.
And Jupiter?
Ah, yes, our wandering benefic. Jupiter is in detriment in Gemini, entering a weaker solar phase, and placed in the bound of Mars.
Mars again? The bound of Mars in Gemini sounds like debate battles, sharp words, maybe even misinformation.
Exactly. Think quick thinking, clever words, but also spin, manipulation, and conflict through communication. It's a tricky terrain for Jupiter.
Mars is everywhere this month, Arlo. He's squaring the full moon, ruling Mercury, holding Jupiter in his bound, and showing up in Venus-Saturn's bound too?
Brilliant observation, Ella. April is absolutely stacked with Mars energy. And when he finally bursts into Leo, it's all spotlight, swagger, and honor-driven action.
So how do we navigate all this Mars heat? What does Mars in Leo really want?
To fight for dignity. To protect what's noble. It's the hero's arc, but with dramatic flair. Still, don't forget the grounding counterbalance. That Venus-Saturn storyline is just as strong this month.
Fire and stone. Passion and patience. Okay, time for a quick recap?
Let's roll into our key takeaways. Alright, stargazers, time for our April rundown. Grab your charts and let's hit the highlights.
Let's hear it. Libra full moon first?
Boom, full moon in the bound of Venus in Libra. This lights up themes of diplomacy, fairness, aesthetic harmony, and partnership. Relationships are front and center.
But not without tension. Mars is involved, right?
Right you are. The moon squares Mars in Cancer, an emotionally charged placement. We're talking hypersensitivity, overprotection, and emotional flare-ups. The great relationship showdown isn't just poetic, it's real.
And what about Venus herself? She's the bound ruler of the moon.
Ah, Venus in Pisces, stationary direct on the same day as the full moon, exalted and powerful, but still tangled up with Saturn. Her second conjunction happens April 24th. Think cold love, artistic restraint, financial sobriety, and perhaps a long-term commitment shaped by patience and emotional depth.
That's intense. What else is brewing?
Mercury re-enters Aries on April 16th. Expect bold, direct communication. Clear thinking, quick decisions, no fluff.
And then Mars charges into Leo on April 18th. Hero mode unlocked.
By the blazing constellations. Yes, Mars in Leo is all courage, all pride, all passion. But right away, Sun enters Taurus on April 19th, and boom, Sun squares Mars on April 21st. Stubborn meets dramatic. Sparks will fly.
And let's not forget Jupiter. He's still in Gemini, right?
Indeed, Jupiter in Gemini is in the bound of Mars. Fast talk, big ideas, heated debates, but also the risk of exaggeration, sharp tongues, and info overload. Tread thoughtfully.
That was brilliant, Arlo. April feels like a pressure cooker with a pinch of poetry. I'm so glad I joined you again on this ride.
The pleasure is mutual, Ella. And remember, friends, your rising sign is the key to decoding these transits. Track where Libra, Pisces, Aries, Leo, and Taurus fall in your chart, Those are your hotspots.
And if you don't know your rising sign, head to astro.com, it's free, and the link's in the description. Let us know in the comments how April is shaping up for you.
Hit the like button, subscribe, and share your light. As above, so below. Astrology is beautiful. Let it guide you.
Until next time, we can't wait to explore the May skies with you. Bye.